Why? Does anybody remember? Joy, do you remember? Your friend, your softball friend, Sarah O'Toole remembers. Go ahead, Sarah.
It gives the convention credibility.
So you are saying that that Washington was the most trusted man in the country. That people were confident that Washington could be trusted with power. And so if a new government was being created and Washington was presiding over its creation, it would give that government credibility. That's what she's saying. Go ahead, Richard.
I was going to say that he kind of represents the southern interests, because it's like the convention's up in Philadelphia, and right now the power's concentrated towards the north. And they want to kind of keep, I don't know.
Well, Richards, there's some reason to what you say, which startled me at first. That's sort of true too. And Virginia's, go ahead if you'd like to apply. Again, that's just odd we do that, so we're quirky here. I never really thought about that, Richard, but I think you do have a point. Virginia was the most important state in the Union. And Virginia was Southern. And Washington, being part of that, could deliver Virginia. Without Virginia, this isn't happening. And so, yeah, that's certainly a good point. Now, in terms of the Constitutional Convention, we went through the big who was there, who wasn't there. And what we found when we went through that is that there were some pretty important people who weren't there. Sam Adams wasn't there. John Adams wasn't there. Thomas Jefferson wasn't there. John Hancock wasn't there. Patrick Henry wasn't there. Some of the luminaries from the Revolution were not directly involved in the Constitutional Convention. Yet Thomas Jefferson, who was not there because he was serving as America's ambassador to France, said it was a convention of demagogues, right? Of kind of a pool of intellectual talent and political talent that was deep in experience, even though the average age of the delegate was only 42. So the people that went to what became known as the Constitutional Convention were experienced in government. They had, in some cases, served as governors, representatives. In some cases, had participated in writing state constitutions. These were guys that were experienced in government. These were guys that had money. These were guys that were educated. Planters, merchants, and lawyers. These were, on some level, aristocrats. The common folk are not well represented in the Constitutional Convention. I'm not sure that they are forgotten, because, clearly Daniel Shays' influence is felt in Philadelphia. Now, in terms of that, the conservative nature of the Constitution is evident in that the eventual document that is produced is based on sort of the idea of division of power and checks and balances. Now, if you think about it, we say this all the time. Everybody knows this. Checks and balances, checks and balances. We have three branches of government. The power of government is divided into branches. The executive branch, the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and then there are checks and balances. If you think about that, that's conservative. Now you might say, why is it conservative? Because you can't trust people, right? If you could trust people, you wouldn't need checks and balances, right? But the conservative nature of the Constitution is evident in that it tries to set up a system of government that is kind of people-proof, right? That power can't be abused by any one person because it's divided and then there are checks and balances. However, quickly, Melissa, I know the hour is late and I apologize to you because you get bored, I know that. But we could divide the Constitutional Convention into three compromises, just very quickly. Joy, just very quickly. I know you have to go. You have several appointments later. Very quickly, Compromise 1 is called the Great Compromise. And this is something that I'll talk about on Saturday as well. The Great Compromise is the compromise over the nature of the legislature. It is the compromise between the Virginia plan and the New Jersey plan. And it's called the Connecticut Compromise. So the Great Compromise is, to some extent, what we have today. A bicameral legislature, a House of Representatives, that is based on population, a Senate that is based on the state, right? Each state getting 2 representatives. And sort of that was a big kind of deal. You know, Virginia and New York and the other large states thought, well, why should Rhode Island with 9 people have equal representation to us, right? I mean, we have all the people. They don't. It doesn't make sense. And so Rhode Island and, well, who wasn't there actually, but New Jersey and the other small states, so why should they have more say-so than we do, right? We're states too. And so how do we reconcile this? Well, with a bicameral legislature, a Senate and a House of Representatives, one based on population, one based on states, with checks and balances against each other, with various responsibilities. You know, so we call that the Great Compromise. This is the big obstacle